This is Radio Hereford FC, the home of the Bulls.
Joining me now is Aaron Downs ahead of the Marine game. But first of all, reflections on Buxton. What did you take out of it?
It was a whirlwind first game. We had Jack Tolley and Harry Jones on the bench. 17 Jack, 16 Harry, and afterwards I pulled both of them to the side and I said, "Welcome to men's football. Welcome to the National League North. You won't get many Saturdays that lively, especially towards the end. But it was a real eye-opener for them too. It was I suppose there was a lot going on, put it that way, a lot to digest at the end. It's very difficult to sum up in sort of one sentence the game, but I felt, on reflection, having watched the game back and reviewed it, there were some really good moments from us. There were some poor moments as well, and some good learning moments for us that we can improve on. But still some good aspects of our game as well. It was a different test. We had to adjust in game because it was a different challenge and test Buxton give us than what we were expecting. I'll be honest. So fair play to them. They've gone a different way about it against us. I think they knew we were going to give energy, we were going to press, we were going to put them under pressure tactically from, they're going to try and play out and play through us. So in the end, they just bypassed it. They didn't bother. They just went direct and tried to take away our strengths and try and impose their game on it. I thought that we dealt with it in the main. I thought they put a lot of balls in our box, a lot of set plays, a lot of throw-ins, and we dealt with it in the main. We didn't concede from those aspects. I mean, we conceded from a set play, a wide free kick, but that's an individual error rather than good play from the opposition or putting us under too much pressure. But what I was disappointed from our point of view is the last goal and the way we didn't really impart our game as much as we'd like to on them. We had moments, sort of end of the first half, start of the second half, where we controlled the game and looked really good and moved the ball well and got our switches in, but we didn't do that enough in the game. And if we had done that more, I think we would have got a result out of the game, if not a win. But I thought we were good value for a point, especially getting it so late on. So it was really disappointing not to come away with something, considering we scored in the 91st minute and to draw the game. So that was a disappointing moment from us. I've
got to ask you about the red card. Some of us thinking it was a 50-50 challenge. Was the referee influenced by the nature of the injury rather than the actual challenge itself? And have the club made an appeal?
So it's very clear in my head. I have to be very careful what I say after the game. I can be a little bit more open now with yourself and with our listeners. And my initial thought was it's definitely not a red card. And having watched the footage back, albeit from a distance, we were not able to get access of the footage that is dug outside. That's not being sent through to us by a certain club. So from what I've seen, it's clearly not a red card. It's a fair challenge. It's both players go in honestly and both with intentions to win the tackle and win the ball. And unfortunately, I still stick by it. Unfortunately, Connor's come off with a bad injury. You don't like to see that in the game, absolutely not. And my sort of empathy goes towards him for that. That is not a reason to send a player off. And on reflection, speaking to the referee, and I'm under no influence that his decision was clearly impacted by the injury, and that decision was basically solely down to the fact that the player got injured, that therefore he must have done something wrong, therefore a red card come out. So it was not the tackle itself, it was the injury that caused the red card, in my belief, in my opinion. We've put an appeal in, so we're waiting the outcome of that.
And that will take, a week or 10 days?
No, we should know tomorrow. So we're speaking Thursday, so we should know Friday, hopefully. So I should know before Saturday, ideally.
Otherwise, it's 3-match violent conduct, would you believe?
No, it's I don't think it's violent conduct. It's 3 games, but I think it's for excessive force, is the terminology they're using for it. So it's a 3-game suspension if we're unsuccessful.
Okay, you gave a W to Harrison Venzi. What do you think he's going to add to the Hereford squad?
Well, a bit of what we've seen. We finished the game with 3 strikers in a front 3, quite narrow. try and get pressure on the top end of the pitch, and I think that worked. And Harrison was a big part of that. He played a big part in the goal. I felt he's got a great physicality, great strength, and good power. And he's gonna add a lot to our attack, that's for sure. And having had a bit of time with him in training, he's a good finisher. Technically, he's decent as well. So he'll be a good addition to our squad, which we knew anyways. But now we've sort of launched him and trained with him a little bit more. He'll have a good impact on our club.
On to Marine then. What can we expect from them on Saturday?
The Marine squad hasn't changed overly from last year. There's a couple of additions that they've made, and what we do know is when we went to their place and then back at our place, they're going to be competitive. They're experienced at this level. They're a very good counter-attacking team. They defend their box quite well. They're no-nonsense type of team. They're experienced at the level. What I do expect is it won't be an easy game as far as from their competitive side. But I've got to focus a lot on what we're going to do, especially when we're at home. You have to be aware of strengths and weaknesses of teams, of course you do. But when you're at home, we have to impart our game a lot more than what we did Saturday. And we have to make Edgar Street a real fortress. Now, I know that's a cliche, but we really do. And we've got some real good attributes that we need to really hit on. Our support base is the best in the division, one of the biggest in the division. So we've got to make that really hostile. We've got to make it a real sort of partisan crowd for ourselves, but also where we are located in the country. We've got to make use of that. So when teams are coming to us, we've got to really make them, when they get off the bus, go, oh, crikey, I don't want to be here. And we've got to make that our strength. So I really want a strong start at home. I really want us to, the players to get the supporters going. It's down to the supporters to come and be ready to be entertained. But it is down to us to get them off their seats, get them on their feet, get them clapping, get them cheering, get them shouting and screaming and singing. It's down to us to do that, and we do that with our energy, our enthusiasm, and our quality. And I believe we've got that. So my role is to make sure that we bring that out. And if we can do that, then I know our support base will get right behind us. And I've always said it, but I'll say it again. We are stronger together. So, it's really important that we give them something to cheer about, and then when we do well, we get that support that we know we'll get.
Well, unbelievably, there could be 9 players making their Hereford debuts at home in the National League North. So, as far as they're concerned, I'm sure they just want to show what they're all about, and that's got to be another positive. Absolutely.
There's a good saying that we use, that you never get a second chance at a first impression, and it's really important that our boys go out. Now, we had best part of 2,000 here at the Shrewsbury game, which was fantastic support. So a lot of them have played in front of a decent crowd, but hopefully we can get up around the 3,000 mark on Saturday, and people that haven't seen our boys can be happy watching them, and be excited about what they see. But our boys have got to go out and impress and show what they're about. And again, that comes down to how our attitude looks, and we're full of run and full of energy, full of enthusiasm. So hopefully our boys can do that.
And hopefully you've got Howkins and Joseph James back.
Yes, should do, and a fully fit Danny Waldron as well, hopefully, because I was restricted in how long I could use Danny on Saturday, and it was touch and go whether I should have used him, but he was desperate to get out there. So I should have a fully fit Danny Waldron, JJ and Kyle. So that would be great boost to the squad.
And how much are you going to take the game to Marine? Because you said you obviously want a quick start, be on the front foot, and as you say, get the crowd behind you.
What we always try and do, what we always do. So that won't change.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.